Hi, my name's Toby, and I just want to talk to you today about how to speak with more comfort and confidence on the telephone when English is not your first language. Now, you might hear different sounds in the garden because I can hear a plane going behind me, going across the sky, and I can hear some birds tweeting. I'm just going to ignore that and crack on. What I want to talk about in this particular session is tips and techniques for starting a telephone call. Now, the first thing to say is you just have to go for it. There can be a real temptation to write an email, for example, in English, when English is not your first language, because speaking on the telephone can feel really scary. It can feel really difficult when you're sort of just speaking down the phone and you don't have the face of the other person to respond to. But in many situations it can be really worthwhile. A good telephone conversation can be worth 10 or 15 emails just in terms of the amount of information you communicate. So, point number one, go for it. Point number two is to consider quite a simple way of starting a professional telephone conversation. Simply saying, Toby Higson speaking, how may I help you, or how can I help you, feels a good and professional, a sort of solid way to start a telephone call. Now, if you're the person calling, you've got a couple of different options. You could say, hello, it's Toby Higson here, I'm calling about, or I'm calling with reference to, or calling with regards to. Point number three, I would say, is the importance of the modal verbs that you use. Now, this is a little thing, a little point of language that can have quite a big impact. Should you use can, should you use could, or should you use would? I think if you're being super professional, I would use some would-based expressions. For example, would you be available to meet, or would you mind confirming that? Would it be possible to? If you want to be sort of semi-formal, still professional, I think could-based expressions can work really well, and can-based expressions are a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more friendly. For example, they might be appropriate when you're speaking to a good colleague in your organization. Now, the final thing I want to say in this session, is the importance of saying when you don't understand. It's very easy to fake it to make it, to sort of pretend that you understand what's being said, and it might well be you just don't have a clue what was just said on the telephone. Now, the importance here is don't feel that it's a sign of weakness just to simply say, would you mind repeating that, or would you mind slowing down? Also, have the confidence to sort of put your hands up, metaphorically, and admit when you don't understand a point of language or an expression. If you're communicating with a native speaker, it's really important that the native speaker on the telephone understands not to use lots of sort of very localized or colloquial expressions that just might not be understood by an international audience. So have the confidence to say, would you mind saying that in a different way? That would be really helpful for me. I'm happy to talk any of this through in more detail, so please do give me an email. It's toby@top.lu, and it'd be great to hear from you. I wish you a very nice evening, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. See you then. Goodbye.